What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Multi-Platinum Production Team.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. And today, we're doing the music production and beat making tutorials. Of course, we get together every night, and we basically cook up some music production. Show folks how we're working behind the scenes on some of these tracks that we're going to put out to your favorite artists. And, yeah, at this point, we've been rocking this about 63 days straight, going live. And we've been making different joints, different techniques, different genres, different styles. And people ask questions about the music business, so I'm here to answer questions as well. If it's your first time here, make sure that you're commenting, and subscribing to the channel, right? Check out all replays on YouTube, right? Even though we're streaming on every platform, but if you want to watch the replays, of course, you can go to YouTube to catch those. Also, make sure that you're visiting arkatechbeatz.com for your music production needs, and if you need any resources as it relates to the music business, make sure you're checking out our books, our recommended reading, and all that other good stuff. So it's Saturday, had a long day today, running around with the kids and etc., trying to get started in this thing. I found this sample, started to loop it up, and tell me what y'all think. Definitely a smooth vibe. There's a lot of ways that we can take this. Ready? There's a lot of ways that we can take this. So we're currently at 78 BPMs, 4-bar loop. Which way you think we should take this, chat? Let's see. And I know yesterday we had we had something a little bit different. We had the Cold Woman last night. Let's do it. Get some hats down. Ready? Let's get this where we needed to be. starting points to go better. Get all these parts good. And I'm just cutting off the beginning. I think that it's not landing good. What up? DWT, man, thank you. DWT, thanks for the gift. Yo, we're going to get into the live. Make sure we're liking the live, sharing the live. Let's go. Let's get this thing started, man. That's an open hat. Try it again. gonna do it like that. Mic check. Mic check, mic check. My mic ain't working. Tell me my mic is working. All right, what up? Let's go. want to get this bass to really rock, right? We put in effects as we go along, bro. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a parametric EQ on the bass line to get it a little bit more, give it a little bit more low end. Thicken it up. So we can go with the presets, or we can go a little heavy on. See how it's going? And we're going to add a little bit more. So what it has a little bit more mid-low, and then we're going to make the output go back to 0. Right? Just want to make sure we don't overload it though. I hear it peaking. If you're watching my meter, it's going well into the red. You know what I mean? So we want to pay attention to that, because that's going to cause your overall mix to go out into the distortion. We can kind of touch it, but we can't. We don't want it to be there too consistently, especially the last half of it. Seems like it gets louder, right? I'm gonna put a little reverb on this slap bass. And bring it down into the mix, so it's not overpowering it. Just want a little bit. You know, you want to hear it a little bit. You ready? This one is a sample. We're not using the AI for this one, but you never know. Boy Swagger, what up? Asking what up? Liam, what up? Cassius Clay, what up? What up? Vocal right here. That's crazy. welcome. Let's go. Make sure y'all sharing the live. Make sure y'all liking the live. Make sure you hit the likes on the like. That helps the algorithm. Make sure y'all sharing the roses. It helps the algorithm. Super chats help the algorithm. Likes help the algorithm. All gifts and donations are welcome and appreciated. Let's go. On here says he's glad he found the channel. He says I'm the only one who sees the future with Suno and Timbo. Timbo is getting a bad rap right now, man. But you know, I was telling people last night that he's a friend to the room. Because he's an advocate for making sure that producers are being handled properly. You know what I mean? And you know, I have that personal experience where I was, you know, voicing some things online, and I was letting people know, like, what are some of the tactics that labels use to disenfranchise producers. And, you know, my message resonated with him. He reached out to me, and, you know, he said he can do what, you know, he'll do whatever we can to help to spread that word and to help other producers. So that didn't really, so when he was getting a lot of the flack for the whole AI and Suno thing, I was like, yo, like, this is disingenuous, man. Like, you know what I mean? There has to be more to it. I don't think that, he reached out to me to help producers. So he wasn't in a position, he didn't have to do that at all. I'm just saying that just to say that he didn't have to do that at all. He didn't have to reach out to me. He didn't have to help. He helped to disseminate that message to larger platforms, and a lot of producers reached out to me, and we got them the help that they need. So with all of that being said, listen, as a producer who's in this business and who's been in this business for a very long time, and I understand the power of being able to have, when you're selling music, right? When you're in the business of selling music, you are trying to sell a completed idea. You know what I mean? There are only certain cases where you're able to build with the artist where you don't have a completed idea, and then you're able to sell an incomplete idea and have you and the artist complete that idea. And a lot of times that only happens when you have the best relationship with artists. So now if you're a person that does not have a relationship with the artist, typically you're going to have to create something that's as close to being completed as possible. And the people who have the writing teams, the musician teams, and those things, they have the advantage because those are the ones that can get closer to a finished commercial product to basically pitch than others. I believe that stuff like Suno helps to level that gap. Now, if you don't believe me, that's on you. But you know, I've been around here long enough to understand what's what. So if those who are not embracing it, I don't know what to tell them. I don't work for Suno. I don't get any money for Suno. I'm just telling you that I've been using it, and I've been more than happy with the response that I'm getting for a lot of these things that are just giving us ideas, you know, giving us demos to, you know, to almost near completion. So it's really good to see. Shout out Richie Mays. What up, bro? just shouting you out, bro. Appreciate you. That guitar is talking right now, dog. Slap bass crazy too, right? There's no 808 on this kick, bro. It's just heavy. Part of this kit. It's really heavy. I recently bought a Key 37. It just sits in the closet, bro. I need you to make some music, man. Listen, I need you to get some music. That's the whole point of the live, man. The whole point of the live is to really just show people, like, you gotta just show up every day. You gotta show up every day. I ain't gonna hold you. I sat here for a minute and I was like, man, I'm tired, right? I've been out all day with the kids, family, you know what I'm saying? Making sure they're at the pool and blah, 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 and, running around doing the family thing on a Saturday. You know how it is, summertime. Coming inside, had dinner, all that stuff, went out to dinner, blah, blah, blah. Home now. Had to start digging through samples again because I dig for the samples maybe an hour before we get on live. Real talk, like maybe like an hour before I get on live. I'm digging through samples and I'm trying to find something that's gonna work for tonight. You know what I mean? Like, because the whole point of it is really for me to cook something up, but I also want to cook something up that people are gonna enjoy. I don't want to be here cooking up stuff that it's gonna sound like a dud. So I got to really be meticulous about picking what I want to work on from night to night. Sometimes I get a chance to jump on the Suno and do a little bit of a a little bit of to get on the live and get to do a little bit of stuff on the veteran, man. Thanks for the gift, brother. And just trying to figure this out. And what I really want to demonstrate to folks is like, this is all that it takes. It just takes us showing up, doing a little bit of something every day, posting it, getting the feedback, do it again. You know what I'm saying? And over time, what you'll see is that you'll see more people tuning in. You'll see more people listening. You'll see more people, that's really rocking with you. And that's the whole point of this process also. And also is to show you, like, give you an idea of the things that work versus the things that don't work. I have a style, or I shouldn't say I have a style, but I have a workflow how I might work. And I just want people to kind of to peek at that workflow, kind of see how we're putting it together. And also to make sure that it's not as complicated. That people might feel like it's not as complicated as it might seem. Because especially if you notice, I'm not here finger drumming. I lay everything down piece by piece, slow, meticulous. You know what I'm saying? No knock to no shade to anybody that's finger drumming, because sometimes that can make people feel like, oh man, if I'm not, putting all the buttons all at the same time. Nah, we put it together like a puzzle. Sometimes we might do something and we talk, the chat will be like, yo, speed it up. Chat will be like, slow it down. Or the chat will be like, I don't like that. I don't like that way. Let's do it another way. And we're building and we're working through it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm open to that feedback. And then I'm also, at the same time, schooling people on, what to do, what not to do, and, what my reasoning is for doing it versus not doing it. And hopefully through this series of streams, people will understand how to get their music to commercial viability. I think that's probably the most important thing for us to understand, is that we have to get our music to, first we want to get our music structurally sound, right? Meaning we want to get it in the right key, right tempo, make sure that there's no off notes, you know what I'm saying? And getting things rudimentally good in terms of mixes, because mixes can be hit or miss, as you get better. These things take time to get better mixes, better stuff like that. But there's no excuse for you having things that don't go together as far as out of tune and that sort of stuff. So we want to get our music structurally sound in that fashion. Once we can do that, then we can find a way to start to improve in terms of trying to do things in terms of different genres or different styles, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go. But I don't want your Key 37 to sit in the closet, man. I had a group one time that we were mentoring. It was a really dope. It was a band out of Albany, Georgia, and they were talking about a lot of music that they had, and I was just telling them, like, listen, your music can't do anything if it's on your hard drive, bro. Like, you got to get the music out. Like, that's the only way we can see what it's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of products on the Walmart shelf. The key here is that it's on the shelf. As long as it's on the shelf, there's a chance for it to be bought. You understand? So we got to put ourselves in the mix. I got my MPC XL. I put it in the closet. I'm gonna pull it back out to kind of pull out some sounds, because I know some people want some of that vintage sounds. The stuff that's in my MPC is all the stuff that we did with like Nas and Raekwon and Prodigy, Mobb Deep. Like all of that stuff is there. Max B, like all of that stuff that I did that we did that music on is in that MPC. So I want to take a lot of those drums out of those stuff. I want to start to put them into a more vintage kit, and have that available to the people. Shout out to everybody that's in the live chat. I need a name for the track. Also, I'm seeing some new folks in the chat, man. Tell us where you from, man. Sunday Drive. I like this. I like that, Rich. Shout out Dayton, Ohio. Sky says flyer. Richie May says Sunday drive. Sky says flyer. Let's bring in the vocals, right? And the lead guitar. Y'all ready? Shout out to Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. Let's go. Yeah, man, I'm telling y'all something, man. Ain't nothing like some pretty vocals on a record, bro. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, man. Ain't nothing like some pretty vocals on a record, dog. It take you someplace else, man, to make your brain make you feel a certain type of way. I love it, man. I'm going to copy this into another sequence, right? We're going to turn this into the verse. And we're going to just start playing the mute game, right? Pulling things in, pulling things out. Pause. No diddy. And we're going to make sure that, that we're starting to build, just build our record, right? By just pulling out key elements and seeing what we need to repeat. Seeing what we need to add in. I do hear a string. I do hear some other stuff, some other percussions, to pretty it up, maybe a little bit of bells, things like falls and, beautiful whistles and all that other type of stuff. You'll see where it goes. MD3, what up? All the new followers, man. Shout out to Veteran Fonz for this gift, man. I appreciate you. Now I gotta bring the girls back in. Let's go. Saturday night. The funny thing, Rob, with this one, this isn't Suno on this one. This is actually part of the loop. You know what I'm saying? That we kind of had separated. And, listen, when you can get everything together like that, when you can get a loop that has all of that in it, listen, man, that's good. I like that lead. I like where that lead is going. I gotta just follow that, and we're gonna make this feel good. Gotta make it feel really, really good now. Like, right? Like. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. And what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to and then what we're doing is we're looking for the key of the main samples. It's showing F sharp minor. And then when I go to add sounds in, and this is just a little bit of a trick with the MPC. When I go to the sounds and I go into pad performance, I could kind of put the scale and the octave at the same, so everything kind of stays in key. You know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about playing something that may be out of beat or out of key per se. And Rob, man, remember what I said, man. The key to this thing, especially when we're talking about, remember, we're in the business of music, right? But being in the business of music, it's like we have to remember what we're selling. It's, something that Young Lord, shout out to him. Young Lord is a producer from the Diddy's Hitman. He produced for Biggie and all these people, and LL Cool J. And we had him on the podcast. And he was basically saying, listen, I don't sell beats. I sell the vision, And he made it like he talked about that, selling the vision of a song, making it visual, right? And being able to sell your music that way, right? So when we're trying to craft something, we have to kind of sell something. We have to sell an idea of how this music is going to make a person feel, right? Because people will spend money on what they feel versus what they think. Whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, man. strings in. Ready? Let's go. And if you notice, what did we do? We put the scale in the octave the same as the key of the sample. The key of the sample was F sharp minor. You see what's doing? F sharp is right on key. Listen. So basically, it's very simple for us to make sure that we're staying in key. You know what I mean? It makes it very easy for us to get, like I said, more sound ideas, and we don't have to worry about going out of pitch. Eight bars. It's 8 bars. It's not 4 bars, Jug. It's 8 bars. Let me fix that. We just copy it and paste it. Versus playing it all the way through. I'm doing the lazy way. Old school, we couldn't do it this way. We'd have to go back in, and we'd have to get it to do what it needed to do. Mike, what up? Let's go. Let's go. Sarah, what up? Shout out to Richie Mays. We're gonna name it Sunday Drive, even though it's Saturday. Yo, shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. We trying to make it go. We added some strings into that. I think I want to add an electric piano or some Rhodes, but we're going to see how I fill it out. Shout out to you, brother. Let's get a second part of this verse in here. Oh, what did I just do? I don't want to do that. We're going to copy the sequence. We're going to go to another sequence. We're going to do a second part of the verse. And I guess what we'll do is we'll use the second part of the verse to break it down before we go back into the hook, right? We're gonna make it just 4 bars, so we're gonna make that a little bit loud. Is that you didn't like the way Saturday Drive sounded? I know it had too much syllables. It's all good, brother. Yeah, the road's gonna be nasty on here, man. Once you can get the right chords, man, like, you know what I'm saying. And for me, I'm gonna be personally honest with y'all. Like whenever I'm doing keys and stuff, like trying to do it here is a little bit more difficult than if I'm doing it over there. On the keyboard, and a lot of times I have to kind of work around my chord progressions. You know, you gotta work around it and, you know, see what fits. You know, some guys are really good; they just can get in there, their head by ear, and it's me. I'm not. That's not my MO. But I program the shit out of an NPC. So let's test out the sequence. We're gonna go from hook to verse number 1, verse number 2, then back to the hook. And y'all tell me how that sounds. That's gonna be a total of 8 and 8. That's 16 bars plus 4. It's going to be a total of 20 bars. We don't do 8 and 8 anymore. We do 8 and 4s. Yeah, it's just the nature of the game, y'all. You know what I mean? Nah, it's good, bro. It's connected. It's synced. I don't know if you can see me playing it. Nah, not a 4-bar chorus. It's an 8-bar chorus, right? So our first sequence is the hook. That's 8 bars. Our verse, our first part of the verse is 8 bars. And then our second part of the verse will be 4 bars. Now, sometimes people can use that to break down or kind of wind up their verse as they get ready to go back into the hook, right? So let's listen to it, summarize, right? Let's go through the whole thing. Let's see how it sounds. If it doesn't feel good, then we just change it. You feel me? If it doesn't feel good, if it feels too short, if it doesn't feel like it's enough time to kind of breathe, then we go back to it. You know what I mean? But I'm just telling you that the current state of where a lot of things are, because of short songs, they're all kind of cutting things down from our 16-bar. If you remember, it used to be like a verse, and they used to have this mini bridge, and then go back into the hook, and like we don't do that anymore. Transition. See, that didn't transition good, so now we got to flip it now. So what we're probably going to need to do is we're going to probably need to do that. Probably take out the bass. Let's try it that way. All right, so let's go back from the verse. The second part of the verse. That sounds better, right? Sky, that's right. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. I like to like tonight. It helps the algorithm, man. Let's go. Tap the screen. Let's go. We need more people to find this live. Samurai, what up, man? See what I'm saying? So watch how we go into the second part of the verse. Ready? Pull out the bass. See what I'm saying? really supposed to do here is we're probably supposed to take the snare and do a drop here, you know what I mean? Alright? If you do it that way, back to the verse, back to the hook, baby. That's wild right there, y'all. Said need a writing session. Pseudo. Pseudo. If you ain't know, you know. Let me tell you, Pseudo turned a writing session 30 seconds. Oh, wait a second. I can't do that. Let me do it the other way. That's interesting. Andre, what up?
Arkatech Beatz.
This joint is called Sunday Drive. Shout out to Richie Mays. Thank you for the gifts. Let's go. We're going to break down the second part of the verse. Let's go. Let's go. Back to the hook. Shout out Sky. My bad. Shout out Richie Mays. Thanks for the gift, brother. Samurai said the beat is smooth. He can hear Scarface, Common, and Nas on it. You know, the joke, Samurai, yesterday, I was stuck yesterday in the evening. I was basically listening to Ghetto Boys, bro. I was listening to Ghetto Boys, like just the you know, that's Mom's playing tricks on me, and I'm just like, it's so cold, man. It's like, it's cold. And I remember that thing coming out of when I was in high school, man. And that thing is just so cold, man. Just the whole, everything on that thing is just cold, man. Like, I was watching the video and I'm like, this video is cold. I don't know what made these guys make this video back then. Like, it was crazy back then. And it was like the way that they told that story of being in the game, making money in the game, and then all of the anxiety, stress, and mental anguish that comes along with being in the dope game. Crazy. Let's copy this hook one more time. He says, do a rap version of Secret Gardens. Nah, I'm not from Arkansas, bro. I'm from the Bronx. Bro. Bronx, New York, son. I'm from the Bronx, son. I'm in Atlanta now. Raising my kids in Georgia. My kids are born in Georgia, man. But I'm from the New York. So I took them to New York 2 weeks ago for the first time, and they was looking around. They was like, I was trying to scare them out of New York, but like they seem like they like it. Damn.
Arkatech Beatz.
They like that Chinese food though. From the Bronx, let's go. So let's try to get this into a sequence. All right. So how we do it, we're going to do the hook with the intro. And the intro basically has our tag in it, right? You got to put your producer tag on it. Producers, put your tags on your music, man. It's not no guarantee that they're going to keep it, but, it's always worth the try. Because you know how these guys in this metadata, these guys don't want to put your credits on your music. All of a sudden, you see it's produced by the artist and not by the producer. You gotta stay on these guys. Now let's see how it sounds all together. Make sure y'all like it alive. Yes, that 10,000 likes. See what it just did? What it did is it did something funky. It opened back up my it took my stuff off mute. And it shouldn't be off mute. So strange. That needs to come out. John, what time do I normally come on? MT, what up? Listen, when I started this thing, I was saying 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Then school ended. So like school ended. It's 9 o'clock and it still got sunlight. I'm like, man, my kids ain't going down to bed yet. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta at least try to get them down. You know, I mean, they don't stay in their rooms or nothing like that. But you know, they just be kind of, you know, just making sure that we give them enough time to, you know, be kids. But I'm on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the time that I would like to get on live. That's the time that I think that I would have the most audience, right? However, I sometimes don't find myself on until 10, you know, somewhere between like 9:30, 10 o'clock, you know. I have had some late nights where I've got on, you know, the latest I've got on is 11:30. You know what I mean? But I want to try to be on between 9 and 10 o'clock. This beat is called Sunday Drive. Shout out Richie Mays. Nah, man, thanks to you, bro.
Arkatech Beatz.
Nah, not Suno, not tonight. That vocal is part of the sample. Make sure you check all your sequences or else it's going to act funny. I got to try it again. But no Suno on this one tonight, man. But I'm going to try Suno on this one because it definitely has a very, very good element in terms of the hook with the falling in love and all of that. So now what I probably got to do is I got to just, you know, play it loud, sing it into my phone, and then, you know, see what it gives me, make sure we have the right tempos and stuff. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Listen, if it's your first time here, man, make sure that you're like, commenting, subscribing, helping this algorithm, right? Also, remember what this live stream is for. This live stream is to make sure that I'm answering your questions as it relates to the music business, right? So if people are asking questions about the music business, you can ask me anything. Remember, I'm a 25-year veteran, major label placements, production deal, distribution deal. I've been the Source, Double XL, you name it. I've done it. We can talk about it. You know, let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
Zach, what up? joining the live, make sure you hit the like button. Let's go. John Blaze, man, thank you for your gift, brother. Chip Burger, what up? Aiden Ray, I see you over there on Twitch, man. I see you, brother. So someone asked, what's that? Smash Man asked, is it hard getting placements? Yes and no. Right? Because remember what has to happen when you're talking about placing music. And I want to give people realistic and practical tips in this thing, right? You know, like how people say, you know, if you're dating, right? You say you're on the dating scene, and you want to date in your range, right? Meaning, like, hey, if you're a 7, you want to probably try to date a 7. You know, that'll be your best chance of being successful at dating at your range. If you're aiming high, you can always aim high, but just know that, you know, you have a better chance at dating in your range. And I say the same thing when it comes to getting music placements, right? Depending on where you are, right? So let's say you're just starting out. When you're just starting out now, what we want to do is we want to try to see if we can work with folks who are also just starting out, right? Because we're trying to see if we can get stuff to get placed so that we can see how people sound on our music, and then we can make sure that we're being able to create or coach and get the appropriate feedback or get the right marriage between, you know, artists and music. Because there are two things as a producer that you want to know. You want to know who sounds good on your music and who doesn't, right? And the only way for us to do that is for us to work with different artists. And I can be very candid with you. There are certain artists that were established artists, gold artists, that didn't sound good on our records. And hence they didn't get released. They didn't sound good. You know what I'm saying? They liked the beat, but what they did to it didn't work, right? So, you know, that happens. You know, so this is all part of that situation. So what I always say is, listen, you know, as you're starting out, you try to work with folks that are in that range, right? Make sure you're paying attention to, when people are starting out, the things that you want to pay attention to. And I'm giving away a lot of sauce with this, so make sure y'all paying attention on this one. When people are starting out, you want to pay attention to a few things. You want to pay attention to how often these folks are posting. You want to pay attention to how often they're dropping their songs. You want to pay attention to the quality of their content, right? Quality of their content is, you know, if you see someone that has quality music videos, quality videos being shot, and, you know, they're being edited properly and those type of things, these are the people who have what we would call resources. Now, we don't know what those resources are. Sometimes those resources are monetary. Sometimes those resources are just a bunch of people around them in their neighborhood that believes in them. So you got a guy down the street that knows how to edit. You got another guy down the street that knows how to shoot videos. You got another guy down the street that knows how to work social media. And then these guys get together, like Mr. Beast's team, and then they start to put stuff together, right? Whether it be an AMP or whatever, a group of people get together and they stand behind somebody who they designate as the go-to person, right? So you might have somebody in your team that, hey, man, they got that natural charisma. Everybody corrals around that person with that natural charisma, and then y'all get all to the finish line. It's your job as a musician or as a producer or anything like this in this music game is to identify that. You have to identify the folks who are just coming up, who look like they got something going on, who look like they could be something, and catch them very early. Now, if you can catch it very early and then you offer your service and you build that relationship very early, then what happens is you become part of a team that ascends, and then typically that's how you get it on the ground floor. Now, once people blow up, it's very hard to get in contact with those folks. And the only way that you can get in contact with people who are at a certain stage is that you have to be at that stage as well, right? So if you want to work with a platinum artist, you gotta be a platinum producer in most cases. You know what I'm saying? For you to get your DMs even answered. You see what I'm saying? So this is all part of the game that folks have to kind of play in order to make sure that you can get what you want to get out of this. So I'm hoping I'm answering your question, Smash Man. I don't even know if you're still in the chat, but let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
And we're here every night, man, on the live, man. And like I said, we're here to do music production. We're working. Everybody who watched me cook this up in the last hour and a half, we cooked this up from the beginning. We created the verses. We figured out what we wanted to do in the verses, break the beat down, when to loop it. We did all of that stuff. We did it in real time. So really, right now, what we've done is we've created the structure of a track that we can pretty much send this out. I'd have to listen to it live and make sure that it's loud, and make sure that it's do the car test, make sure that we're doing what it needs to do, and once we have it there, then we can kind of use that and start sending it out. Personally, at this point, because it's got more of an R&B feel to it, I would probably run some vocals through through the AI just to kind of get some ideas on what a hook could sound like, a bigger one, and just trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? Yo, Richie, man, I appreciate you, man. Crazy, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for your gifts, man. You know what I'm saying? It's much appreciated for your support, man. The supporting, it feels good to do something and people support you. You know what I'm saying? And it feels good to be able to help people. You know what I mean? And at the same time, they show you love, and then you give them, to have that kind of symbiotic relationship. But anyhow, I like that you asked a question about getting placements, man, because that always seems to be, that gets people daunting. It makes people feel like it's a daunting thing, and it's really not, man. It's just sometimes if you're aiming at a certain place, and if your music isn't ready, right? And that's the thing. Your music might not be ready. You know what I mean? And that's another thing too. Like, you might need to make sure that we get your music ready. Right? And the only way for you to do that is for you to work with artists. We have to make sure that we're doing what we got to do to get the right artists on our joints. And remember what's happening. It's a fall down and get up, fall down, get up, fall down, get up, fall down, get up. That's how it is. This is a fail, and then you win. Fail, then you win. Right? Now the key here is that when you fail, and when you do win, you want to win big. Right? Like, that's the main thing. It's like, yeah, I could fail a few times. It's cool. But when I win, I got to win big. So it's okay to have those misses. But, when you hit, you want to make sure that you're hitting like, all right, that's a knockout blow, right? Knock them out of socks, you know what I mean? So that's really like the way that we have to really think about this. And night after night, y'all see me coming on, and some joints are hits, and other joints is like, you know what I'm saying? But it depends on what vibe you at, you know what I mean? Because in the right environment, I could take this music and I can get it placed with everybody, you know what I mean? But it all depends on who you're trying to get at and who's going to help elevate you, who's going to help move you to the next level, and you're trying to make decisions, and sometimes you're trying to hoard music. We've been guilty of that, of hoarding music and saying, we don't want to give that to him, or we don't want to give that to them. We want to hold this for somebody else. But you never get somebody else. That's the risk that you take. You know what I'm saying? You never get to anybody else. You're trying to hold it for a bigger artist that you might never get to. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of you continue to work. You keep working and you make sure that you have an arsenal of music. Because the more music that you got, yeah, man, the more music that you got, you know, it's better for you. You know, you want to make sure that you're understanding what you're doing. You want to make sure that you know, like, okay, I know what it took to make this type of record. Like, if you ask me, yo, what did it take to make, you know, Live from New York? I know what that took to make that. I know what it took to make, you know, Self-Conscious with Prodigy and Nas. I know what it took to make the Jadakiss Realest in the Game. I know what it took to make Max B and those things. That's why we're able to keep doing it, because we know what it takes. Like, once you learn what it takes, you can continue to do that. Like, okay, you know that this is going to go because you have the experience now of what works and what really is going to be working with certain artists and resonate with certain artists. Make sure we hit that like button. Let's go. This is Sunday Drive. Shout out Richie May. So I'm gonna give y'all a joke, right? The folks that was with me last night, y'all know we was playing the Cold Woman joint all night last night, right? We were playing the Cold Woman joint all night last night, and like I said, I took my kids, you know, we took our kids to the pool today, whatever, you know what I mean? Community pool, whatever, right? We go to there, do that. So, you know, I said, listen, I got this record that I worked on last night. I'm playing for my wife. Like, yo, I got this record that I worked on last night. I play that Cold Woman. I'm like, yo, like, I played her the Cold Woman last night. I played her the Cold Woman from last night, man. And she's like, I know you're not talking about me. I'm like, nah, I'm not talking about you. You know, you did what I needed you to do for Father's Day. Yeah, I didn't ask you for nothing for Father's Day. You got me what I asked for, you know. You know, breakfast in bed and all the other good stuff. So I don't feel like you're a cold woman, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, hit dog gonna holler. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was funny, like, you know what I'm saying? It was definitely comedy last night, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a lonely time for me as I see this woman that I used to love and she don't love me. Every time when I wanna be with her for her embrace, man, I'll tell you that this woman just laughs in my face. She's a cold, cold woman. She's a cold woman. She's a cold, cold woman. She don't care about you no more, cold woman. She's lying to my face, cold woman. Oh.
Yo, for those folks that wasn't in here yesterday, and I was trying to tell folks that I did it in Suno. Like I did it in Suno, you know what I mean? And if I'm gonna play out a vocal from yesterday.
It's a lonely time for me.
That's my terrible vocal.
As I seen this woman that I used to love and she don't love me.
Right?
Every time when I wanna be with her for her embrace, man, I'll tell you that this woman just laughs in my face. She's a cold, cold woman. She's a cold woman.
Right?
She's a cold, cold woman.
And then once I ran it in the Suno, then I get this.
It's a lonely time for me.
Man.
As I see this woman that I used to love and she don't love me.
Don't love me.
Every time when I wanna be with her for her embrace, man, I'll tell you that this woman just laughs in my face. She's a cold, cold woman. She's a cold woman. She's a cold, cold woman. She don't care about you no more, cold woman.
Yep.
She's lying to my face, cold woman. Oh.
So bass player is asking me, so I put that through the AI and I got that. Yes. And the only thing that I recommend, right? This is what I recommend doing is, of course I was playing the track out live. And when I played the track out live, I just played the basic melody. I played this. Right? Once I kind of looped it up and got the speed that I wanted for the loop, I was like, okay. And then that's when I recorded the vocal to it. You know what I'm saying? So the output from the and then I have to after I put it into the AI, I have to now prompt it, right? So I have to prompt it, say, okay, I want male R&B vocalist, funk, blues, right? I have to put these words in, or these series of directions, the BPMs, the mood, the style, right? That I wanted it to give me. And then when it gave me 2 iterations. Now the iteration that it gave me that was closest to my BPMs, and it took and it really kind of incorporated part of the loop audio into the recording. And then when you go into Suno, you have to choose how much of the prompt do you want to control the output, or how much do you want your original input to control it. So you have to put a measuring stick on, like, hey, I want you to use 50 or 60% of what I gave you, and then now I want you to use 50 or the other 30 or 40 or 50% of the style that I've inputted through the prompt. And then of course there's another gauge for you to kind of put like how weird you want it to be. And then once you kind of do that, it'll give you what you need it to do. And then also so it took my lyrics, it expounded on it. I can look at it in real time. I can change it in the dashboard before I actually do an output. So, listen, it's a game changer, man. It's a game changer. I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of what's happening with it, but it's definitely a game changer. So, Sky is the best tool that I've ever seen right now. Juggy said, what interface do I use? And he says, the vocals coming from what? The vocals coming from Suno? Like, let's be clear so I understand what you're saying. Because the interface that I'm using a Scarlett, man. Like, what's that, 816 or something like that? I know this one is that's a Scarlett too behind me, but it's an older one. But this one is a newer one. And then the vocals that I just ran the vocals into my phone. Like I use my phone. That's a S25. But remember my S25, I could run I got a USB blue mic that I could run right into my phone too. You know what I'm saying? Just plug it in USB-C. So it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. But right now my microphone is running through my MPC. Just so that you're clear. To do the lives, my microphone is running to my MPC, and then my MPC is running to the Scarlett. Because what happens is that I'm noticing when I'm doing lives, I can't seem to get my Streamlabs for some strange reason to read the inputs 3 and 4. It can read inputs 1 and 2, the mic inputs, but it doesn't want to read inputs 3 and 4. I don't know if it's a software thing. And honestly, I couldn't get any information on the internet, and it was taking too much time to kind of figure it out. So I said, let me see. I said, what's the best way for me to do this where I can have access to my microphone and still make sure that you guys can hear the MPC in stereo? Because I didn't want the audio coming through the mic and stuff like that. I wanted the audio to come through how I hear it, so you guys can hear the 808s and hear everything that as I'm producing it. You know what I'm saying? Hear it for what you need to hear it for. And then I told a white lie. I was like, yo, this joint sound like Teddy Swims. My wife was like, yo, stop playing. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz. Arkatech Beatz.
It's a lonely time for me as I see this woman that I used to love and she don't love me. Every time when I wanna be with her for her embrace, man, I'll tell you that this woman just laughs in my face. She's a cold, cold woman. She's a cold woman. She's a cold, cold woman. She don't care about you no more, cold woman. She's lying to my face, cold woman. Oh.
back to Sunday Drive. We going back to Sunday Drive. I just had to, hear my cold woman joint, for the night was out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that was in the live when they watched us cook that up, man. That was just, what a night. What a crazy night last night. It was crazy. One for the books.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. We almost had 20,000 likes. Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for your gifts. Let's go. Back to the hook, my bad. Back to the hook, my bad. This joint is called Sunday Drive. Shout out Richie Mays. Let's go. Do I got a synth? All in terms of putting some synths on that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna add it in. I'm just, we coasting tonight. We coasting tonight. Yo, shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. You know what I'm saying? We had 21,000 likes, man. We doing it. We doing it nice. A bunch of roses, a bunch of gifts on here. Appreciate y'all. Oh, synths and hardware. Nah, I don't got no synth. No more hardware synths, man. Them days over, man. I ain't got none of that anymore. All VSTs, bro. VSTs, man. We ain't using no more of those. You know what I'm saying? I miss it though. I ain't gonna hold you. I was seeing what's his name joint the other day. I know it's your man Just Blaze was going through his secret room, and he had cause true story. People don't really know what Just Blaze, man. Just Blaze used to be when we were starting out. He had just did the Harlem World record, and we used to go check him at the cutting room. He used to be a studio manager at the cutting room down in New York City. You know what I'm saying? And he was always an engineer, and and he was studio guy, studio rat kind of guy. You know what I mean? And he was trying to get with Pun, man. We wanted to get with Jay, and he wanted to get with Pun. So it was we was trying to. Yeah, we was trying to join forces back then. Real talk. We was trying to join forces back then. Let's join forces. You know what I mean? Listen, man, I got stories, man. You know. So a lot of times, what happens is like this, and I want people to be clear, man. It's like, listen, if you're not active out here, you know what I'm saying? You could be working, but if you're not active and you're not actively promoting and marketing, what tends to happen is you get left out the conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get left out of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, we're on all these major projects with all these other major producers, and a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, like we may get mentioned here and there, but we're not getting mentioned as much as we should. And a lot of that is because, again, you got to stay active. You know what I'm saying? So you got to stay active. You got to stay out here marketing, selfish promotion. You know, people don't want to do that. People feel like it's being braggadocious and stuff. But listen, you know, I got a saying, man. It's all people like talk about being humble, man. And like, you know, like people like eating humble pie, man. I say, hey, man, you eat too much humble pie, it's gonna choke you. Can't be on that. You gotta talk your talk. You gotta start letting people know what it is that you're doing, what you did. I can hear Fabulous. Yeah, man, I need Fab on something, man. You about to buy a microcord? Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a trip to the store and play with some new analog things. Listen, I used to buy so much equipment, man. I used to buy so much equipment, man. It was like, come on, bro. The only reason why I'm trying to stay away from that now is because when you got analog gear means I gotta put it into a DAW, and then I gotta mix it in the DAW. You know, that sort of thing. Ed the Wrestler, what up? Chip says he here. Fabulous, man. Listen, Fab is an underrated great. Chip Burger, what up?
Arkatech Beatz.
Yo, Rob, I just want to get done, man. I'm telling you. Pyrex Metronome on YouTube is asking. I don't know if y'all can see his question on the screen. Yeah, when did you know that the beats that you were doing were when did you know your beats were a sound for the industry? To be honest, man, like our first wave of beats, man, because we were doing, like I said, we were doing these tapes that were called bash music, and the way that we tried to fast track our way into a lot of these beats was we would take break beats. So I would buy I got a lot of records, and I would get a lot of break beats. Take the break beats, put them into the ASR, and then tempo match them with the samples that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So kind of slow down the drum beats, you know, and not necessarily program the drums, right? And then so we weren't really programming the drums. We were actually taking the drums and we were mixing certain drums with certain samples. And then that kind of got us to at least get the drums sounding like how our favorite records were sounding, because we were using the same break beats, right? Does that make sense? And then after that, all we needed to do now was find the right type of sample that we wanted to hear in terms of our fidelity. How old was I when I first started? I'm gonna say 19. I'm gonna say 19. You know what I'm saying? Because I had tapes and stuff like that when I was trying to rap, doing pause tapes and that type of stuff, trying to rap. And then I had a homie up the street that was a DJ that we used to go to his house and do freestyles and stuff like that. And then I said, all right, you know what? Shout out KP, you know what I mean? And then I had some Gemini turntables and stuff, and I wanted to DJ too. I wanted to DJ, but I bought the wrong turntables. When you buy the wrong equipment, it changed the course of my trajectory. Had I was able to afford the techniques at the time, I probably would have been a DJ. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't able to afford that. The direct drive turntables, I bought belt drives, and every time I used to try to scratch, because I can't say I was a big teenager. No, I wasn't a tall teenager, but I was a big teenager because, I was in the gym from when I was about 14 to 15 years old. So we used to go to the gym, lift weights, and then box and, wrestle and that sort of stuff, scholastic wrestles, that type of stuff. So by the time I got to like 18, 19 years old, I'm like, damn, they're 200 pounds, right? So, I'm trying to DJ. My hands is heavy. Every time I try to go on the belt drives, the needle would skip. And I'm like, man, this ain't working for me. So I'm like, all right, we still rapping. Couldn't get nobody to get me no beats. Nobody would give me no beats. That was really the issue. That's the reason why I started to make beats. Is nobody wanted to give us beats. I had a rap group and nobody wanted to give us beats. I had to just start getting the records myself, start sampling the records myself. And then started to do that thing like I told you, take break beats, mix with certain records, and that's how we started. I think when you're a DJ, you have a certain understanding of sound. You know what I mean? It's, the mixing of records, what sounds good, tempo, speed. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of that kind of ear training. It's like it's all about training your ear. You know what I mean? Gotta train your ear. He says okay. He says It says you purchased. Pirates Metronome said he purchased an MPC 1. He's having issues with the time stretching. Can you elaborate on how to use it properly? So like when you sample something, right, bro? You sample something in the MPC. What you want to do when you're sampling something in the MPC, make sure that you're sampling. Try to get as close to your beginning and end points when you're trying to sample, right? So make sure that you're starting it where you want to start, and make sure that you're ending it as close to where you want the sample to end, right? That makes a perfect loop, or close to a perfect loop. So when you go into your sample edit or your program edit, and you go into this, when you have a sample, right? Hold on. And what you'll notice is that it's going to give you the key. It's going to give you a BPM. All right, it's going to give you a BPM, and it's going to give you it's going to give you a BPM, and it's going to give you a key. Right. So when we're warping samples, what you want to do, warping a sample or time stretching a sample, is basically making sure that you're able to keep the same key, but move the tempo up and down. Right. So I could take this sample. So once it tells me what the sample key, it tells me what the sample BPMs is right here on the bottom. And what you want to do is you want to press BPM sync, and you want to press warp, right? And then of course you want to manually put in the sample tempo that the system is getting us close to. And then what you would always want to do is you want to start your track where it's telling you where the tempo is. So if it's telling you it's at 77, put it at 77. Tweak your beginning and end points until you get a decent loop. And then if it's too fast or too slow, then you can turn the tempo up, turn the tempo down, and then what it'll do is it'll stretch it. So every time you go up, so for example, like if I'm playing this now, right? If I want to go up in tempo, it moves it up. I don't gotta do anything. If I want to slow it down, it does it for me. I don't have to do anything. So everything now is tied to the BPMs and the tempo. So it's really just about your samples, and then also depending on where you get your samples from. If you're using TrackLib or if you're using Splice, remember those things already tell you what the BPMs are. Always start with it. Always start with the BPMs that it's giving you, and then what you do is you then try to pitch up, pitch down using the warp and the BPM mapping, and then that's how you can get your stuff to stay in key and move up and down. The old school way for us used to be we used to have to we used to have to tune the sample, and then do a time, and then do a tap tempo, and then try to get it to loop, and then we would have to keep playing with the BPMs to get it to loop properly, and then when it looped properly, it was fine, but it was out of tune. So then you had to go into your sound modules, and you had to change the master tune to get the tune to match. So you had to have the right ear, so that if you wanted to put extra sounds from your modules into your samples, you had to tune it to your sample, and then you had to make sure that you logged it on the track so you know what the tune was, so when you brought back the track up. So these kind of things makes it so much easier now. Like we used to drive us crazy trying to get all that stuff to match back then. For those who know, you know. I hope that helps. Hope I answered your question with that.
Arkatech Beatz.
Make sure you pull up with us every night, man. We here every night, man. Listen, I want to shout out Richie Mays, John Blaze, Kaz, a few other folks, Rob Mully, all you guys. Thank you for liking the live, sharing the lives. Thank you guys for the gifts. Shout out to the new followers. The new followers, listen, I'm here every night. We're answering questions about music production, answering questions about the music business. Okay. Sometimes we talk about current events and we have a little bit of, a chuckle here and there, talking about like stuff like Jim Jones said he's, better than Nas, that type of stuff. It's wild. It's wild, man. I had to tell somebody today. Thanks for subscribing, brother. Yeah, I had to, I'm sorry. New people, please get the books. Like Richie's saying, listen, if you're trying to learn the music business, I'll leave the books out so people can understand that this is what I'm using to basically educate the folks that are coming into the game. Like I said, very short reads. I have more material that's going to be coming out soon, but we're trying to save that for the Patreon and different stuff like that. Once the Patreon is open, I'll also be doing giving cats the ability to do one-on-ones and that sort of thing, and making sure that they have like a direct line to mentorship. You know what I mean? At the same time, what do I think about mumble rap? I don't think anything of it, but let me tell you what we did wrong with mumble rap. What we did wrong. And I hope somebody clip farms this. But what we did wrong as the OGs, we were supposed to tell the mumble rap guys, no. We were supposed to say, hey, y'all a detriment to the community. Y'all gonna mess up everything. We can't let it ride. We let it ride because these guys were making money. You see what I'm saying? So we let these guys being able to hustle their influence and hustle their way to a bag We let that supersede the music. We gave them respect for them being able to hustle and get money, but we didn't, that's not what they were supposed to be doing. We were supposed to be giving them respect for their musical talent. That's what we were supposed to be doing. So what happened was we let people hustle, and people hustle now. Now, don't get me wrong. People got hustle and business acumen. It's not to be conflated with being good, talented musicians. They're not the same thing. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? So now the integrity of the music got watered down, and people stopped listening. Now we're at a point where people don't even listen anymore. You feel me? So it created this horrible void, in the industry. You know what I mean? And it really had to stop. You know what I'm saying? So I know people talk about the Drake and Kendrick beef, but the Drake and Kendrick beef was very, very good for the culture, because now we got a chance to listen to rap, right? And you have to even if Drake lost, you have to say, hey, you have to commend him for even getting in the ring, because he didn't have to get into the ring. He could have let homie just, oh, he's trying to get clout off of me. Let me, let's see how your album do without me talking back to you. He didn't have to respond, but he got into the ring. He did it hip hop style. He got into the ring, win, lose or draw. He took some L's. You know what I'm saying? I think he would have been happy if he just took the L without the help of the label, right? But hey, he took the L. He's taking the L. And at the end of the day, I think it was better for music, because now what happened is it reset everything. So if you notice, there's been like a slowdown of trash hip hop music. It slows down, like it's almost to a halt. All the people that we would be looking for albums that we would be dropping back to back, all of a sudden those things kind of lifted up. It's because nobody wants to hear it anymore. Kendrick and those guys made it to that people start listening to rap again. Thank God. Right? So now when you see a record like The Clips come out and everybody's excited. Y'all excited? Y'all excited for The Clips? Y'all excited for drug rap? Luxury drug rap? Y'all excited for that? Whoa. It's because now times have changed. Peace, bro. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. We're getting ready to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody that was, in the live today, engaging in the live, sharing the live, liking the live, sending gifts. I said, man, I totally appreciate that. We're going to be back tomorrow. Hopefully around 9, 10 o'clock. Make sure you hit the notification bells, man, so you can get notified when we go live, man. Listen, man. You could always watch the replay, bro. If you're on YouTube, you could watch the replay, bro. You know what I'm saying? We've been on for 2 hours and 2 hours 18 minutes, and we built this record from scratch. You know what I'm saying? We built it up. Now we built it up, with a sample, and we kind of worked through it and let people see what we did to make it, do what it do. But make sure y'all following, like, commenting, subscribing, sharing the live, sharing everything that y'all seeing. Richie Mays, man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Y'all be safe out here. Y'all be safe, man. Tomorrow's Sunday. Make sure y'all spend some time with that family, man. Let's go.